Sunlight filters through the hoop as a secret crush blooms quietly in her heart, a confession yet to be spoken. But the daydream shatters instantly, locked onto by Captain's terrified gaze, as if foreseeing a disaster. Oblivious, Kiss waves excitedly, unaware of the basketball hurtling toward her with menacing speed. Thud. Her world spins, the smile freezing on her face, replaced by shock and a sharp, throbbing pain. The cool ice pack soothes the throbbing wound, but nothing can quell the senior's apologetic and caring gaze. The infirmary's silence draws them closer. Captain's gentle promise makes the accident feel less like a tragedy and more like a blessing. Watching his guilty profile, Kiss secretly rejoices a little pain is a small price to pay for this private moment with her crush. Meanwhile, across the city, the curtain rises on a highly anticipated esports spectacle, cheers echoing through the vast hall. Under the spotlight, Team God steps forward, shouldering the crowd's expectations and the heavy pressure of champions. Even through a screen, Captain is captivated, patiently explaining this unfamiliar, adrenaline-fueled world to a confused Kiss. Kiss's jaw drops at the astronomical prize money, while on screen, the horn sounds for the final battle to begin. All eyes focus on the faceless world's #1 assassin, Noah, his chilling aura palpable even behind a black mask. Kiss barely understands Captain's praise for Noah, only knowing that his focused expression as he analyzes the game is mesmerizing. With sunlight streaming in, Kiss rests her chin, eyes filled only with the boy glowing with passion, a moment of pure contentment. On stage, Noah's fingers fly, everything proceeding as planned, victory seemingly within reach until a subtle anomaly creeps in. Suddenly, the screen flickers eerily, revealing hidden enemy positions from the fog of war without warning. Cold sweat drenches his back as Noah's pupils constrict. This isn't just a bug. Someone planted a map hack in his device. Eyes wide with terror, teammates freeze as the match is forced to pause, a suffocating tension gripping the entire booth. Casters try to calm the restless crowd, while Captain frowns, confused why the imminent victory came to a screeching halt. Behind the tightly closed doors, a dim light glows, and an angry interrogation pierces through, signaling an approaching, irreversible storm. The break room transforms into an interrogation cell. Teammates close in like judges, their accusations piercing the air. Did you do it? Explain the hacks. Why would someone of my skill need to cheat? Noah pleads, but the coach's cold hand signals silence. Truth is irrelevant. We need damage control. Dead silence fills the corridor as the coach delivers the verdict like a gavel strike. To save the team's reputation, God withdraws immediately. Noah crumbles. What? The team erupts. With victory so close, shock turns to blind rage. The coach roars back, forcing the bitter pill down their throats. The spotlight feels blinding. Noah realizes this is a trap. Millions are watching, and playing on would only lead them straight into the smiling villain's hands. The phone screen becomes an execution ground, flooded with hate. Swallowing the injustice, Noah calculates the cost, withdraw now and salvage the second-place prize. Heart twisting in pain, leadership demands a sacrifice. Noah clenches his jaw, bowing to this ridiculous game to protect the team's future. Logic snaps under the weight of a year's sacrifice. Noah breaks down, tears welling up, screaming in defiance. I gave everything for this. I refuse to give up. The argument hits a fever pitch. To silence Noah, a lethal threat is thrown. I'm trying to protect you. Don't forget the secret you're hiding. The dreaded moment arrives. You are a girl. The words land like a physical blow. The disguise shatters, leaving Noah exposed and frozen in shock. Regardless of the truth, the ticking bomb is defused. Authorities coldly take over, asking for understanding while leaving the shattered soul behind. The world collapses. Who set this up? Why now? Noah's mind fractures, drowning in a black whirlpool of confusion, denial, and suffocating pain. Joining God? Keep dreaming. The rejection stings. Not for lack of skill, but simply for being a woman, an invisible ceiling harder to break than any opponent. Even after joining, the prejudice remained. An outlier in a male-dominated world, her victories were dismissed by trolls as getting carried by the team. In this toxic digital world, no one knows the loneliness and humiliation she endured to get here. She puts on headphones, blocking out the venomous noise. But rage turns into fuel. She swears a blood oath. Since you look down on me, I will stand at the top of the world and shove my success in your faces. Just one step away, the golden trophy within reach, then the screen cracks. Fate plays a cruel joke, shattering her dreams and her world in an instant. 1 month later, Hero knocks with a fake smile. Seeing Miguel on the floor, the air hangs heavy with an unsettling, fragile peace. Facing Miguel's furious questions about the culprit, Hero dodges the subject and simply hands over a new account card, a subtle glint of cunning in his eyes. The seemingly heartfelt brotherly promise disarms Miguel, filling him with emotion, unaware of the calculation hidden behind the warm smile. Meanwhile, sunlight floods the school basketball court, where the rhythm of dribbling and sneakers squeaking composes a symphony of youthful energy. Behind the fence, Kiss cups her face, her eyes fixed solely on Captain shining on the court. Her girlish crush is impossible to hide in this moment. Though just handing over a water bottle, Kiss's heart races. The moment Captain mentions his game rank, a new resolve quietly sprouts in her heart. It turns out the key to Captain's world is Kings of Arena. Desperate to bridge the gap with her crush, Kiss yearns to enter his world through the game. Meili's explanation makes Kiss realize that Captain is not just a school celebrity, but a divinity tier player. This gap fills her with both admiration and anxiety. Even the usually rational Meili can't help but blush and heart race, falling into a brief fantasy of fighting side by side with Captain. Night falls, and with a mix of nervousness and anticipation, Kiss hits download. The moment she types the ID Kiss, the gears of fate begin to turn. Reality delivers a harsh blow. Her rookie rank prevents teaming up, forcing her to face the brutal random matchmaking alone as she grits her teeth and presses start. Entering the arena, looking at her cute mage character, the naive Kiss thinks this is just an easy monster hunting game, completely unaware of the approaching danger. Sudden arrows and ambushes shatter the fantasy. Panicked and surrounded by enemies, she can only let out a helpless cry. Blades slice across the screen accompanied by a desperate scream. In this moment, she deeply realizes the cruelty of the arena here. Weakness is a sin. Just at the moment of certain death, flames erupt, and a powerful silver figure descends, like a god, shielding her from harm. Blazing flames surround the mysterious gray swordsman. Standing with his back turned, he emits a suffocatingly powerful aura, like the ruler of the battlefield. Having narrowly escaped death, Kiss, still shaken, looks at the wings of light protecting her, blushing as she tremblingly voices her gratitude. But the scene shifts, revealing the real gray swordsman is just Miguel curled up in a dim room, staring at his phone with disgust, utterly bored by this low-level match. In this room numbered 508, their story has only just begun. Who will be the ultimate winner in this game of love and competition? The next morning, an oblivious Kiss boasts about her winning streak to her best friend, her face glowing with the vanity and joy of having been carried by a pro. Disbelief turns into joy as she stares at the victory screen, realizing she won with her own hands. While she cheers for matching with the swordsman again, in a dim room, Noah grips the phone in frustration. Humiliation strikes instantly. Her mic was on the whole time. Laughter erupts from the team, leaving her mortified. Still reeling from the shame, the gray swordsman issues a cold challenge. A one-on-one duel, loser buys snacks. Confident declarations echo in the empty classroom, unaware of the crushing defeat that awaits her. Meanwhile, a failing grade brings a teacher's scolding, but the defiance in Radican's eyes remains unyielded. Contrasting with Kendo's perfect score, Captain sits deep in thought, his mind fixated on the upcoming team recruitment. Still fuming over her mistake, Meili looks up and spots the figure that makes her heart race. The glowing divinity rank takes her breath away, leaving Kiss wide-eyed with pure admiration for his skill. Time freezes as Captain asks to add her. Kiss's heart pounds wildly, her mind exploding with romantic fantasies. Captain's gentle encouragement warms her heart. Kiss clenches her fists, silently vowing to get stronger for him. Surprise follows surprise. Darren plays too. A shared secret brings the two girls instantly closer. As Kiss stammers about her rank, Darren suddenly grasps her hand, conveying an unspoken seriousness. Finally, Captain stands tall and announces that Polaris is opening its doors. The ticket to their dreams is within reach. Kendo adjusts his glasses and reveals the ultimate goal, the National Pro League. The golden trophy ignites a fire in their hearts. To the global stage. The light in Captain's eyes is blinding, captivating the girls, who vow to follow him anywhere. Vows are made, but a sharp ambition flashes in Darren's eyes. She is determined to claim the sole mage position. Tension fills the air as the boys trash talk about ranks, while Kiss burns with a fierce determination to stand by Captain's side. The noise fades into a gentle night. Kiss sits alone at home, her fingers lightly tracing the phone screen, lost in thought. Staring at the unattainable divinity rank, insecurity creeps in. She needs a true mentor, and a silver silhouette comes to mind. In her pink pajamas, a spark of an idea hits Kiss. Why not ask that expert? She nervously checks the search bar. Fingers trembling. Gray Swordsman is actually online. Under the gentle night sky, a signal of hope traverses the city. In the chat box, Kiss summons all her courage to type, "I want to be as good as you. Can you teach me?" In reality, Miguel grips the phone, frowning slightly. That name, memories overlap with game visuals. Is it that noisy mage who forgot to mute her mic yesterday? The rejection from the screen hits cold and hard. Too bad. Kiss feels a surge of grievance, her anger flaring only to die down into frustration at her own lack of skill. Thinking of Darren's skills, Kiss swallows her pride and spams pleading messages. On the other end, Miguel sighs at the barrage of requests and reluctantly types, "All right then." Before she can cheer, the demand for 2,000 diamonds freezes Kiss in place. Shock replaces joy as she stares at the text, waging an internal war between her wallet and her dignity. In his luxury gaming room, Miguel leans back with a smug smirk. Who would pay a stranger? Just as he's sure he's scared her off, the phone suddenly vibrates. Staring at the top-up successful notification, Miguel's pupils dilate in shock. Is she crazy? Or just incredibly gullible? Disbelief instantly shatters his composure. Now, intense curiosity about this sucker takes hold. He zooms in on the blurry profile picture, trying to find the truth within the pixels. Is this really her? The girl in the photo looks cute as an idol, too perfect to be true. Miguel's cool gaze sweeps the screen, alarm bells ringing. This is definitely a catfish using stolen photos. In the dim room, logic clashes with intuition. How could a clumsy player who leaves her mic on be a calculating catfish? Miguel rests his chin on his hand, deeply perplexed. Meanwhile, the scene cuts to a skyscraper elsewhere. Rio enters the office, facing the coach's back, the air thick with oppressive corporate tension. Take over Miguel's position. The coach's words are calm yet cruel. Rio grips the chair, accepting the arrangement with apparent obedience, hiding unreadable emotions in his eyes. Faced with questions about Miguel's character, Rio stares straight ahead, vowing, "I trust him." His unwavering stance mimics that of a most loyal comrade. Yet deep inside, dark thoughts grow like weeds. Rio recalls everything since that day, his worship for his former idol long twisted by jealousy. Should he really be allowed back? Rio clasps his hands, feigning conflict while dropping a leading question, silently planting the seed of doubt in the coach's mind. Now, the corners of his mouth finally curl up uncontrollably into an eerie smile. I know Miguel didn't hack. In the shadows, Rio's gaze turns malevolent and arrogant, the whisper in his heart deafening, because that person was me. The truth brings a shuddering chill. The next morning, the bustle of a convenience store breaks the silence. Meili grips her phone, brows furrowed, radiating such gloom that her friends dare not breathe too loud. In the convenience store, Kiss slams her hand on the table, furiously showing Meili the chat history where the scammer vanished after taking her money. Meili sternly points out Kiss's naivety, and though Kiss tries to argue, she eventually slumps onto her desk, whispering that she only did it to join Captain's club. Meili stares in disbelief, but for Kiss, keeping her promise to Captain and beating her rival Darren makes this painful path the only option. Meili sighs, sensing the trouble in this ulterior motive, while elsewhere, calculations about getting closer to the team's inner circle are quietly being made. Looking at the scammer's history, despite the MVP streak, the item build is baffling. An assassin with armor penetration is a risky strategy only a master could pull off. A heated debate erupts over the build's viability, with some arguing for cooldown reduction while others insist on speed, filling the room with technical gaming jargon. On the other end, Miguel stares at the transfer in panic, his prank gone wrong triggering a terrifying vision of being handcuffed and arrested. The fear spirals as he imagines headlines about a pro player scamming students. If his coach finds out, his career is over. Miguel clutches his head in utter despair. Night falls, and Kiss tosses in bed, lamenting her lack of progress with Captain and the scam, feeling like the unluckiest pretty girl in the world. Suddenly, seeing the scammer online ignites her rage. Kiss bombards him with messages, while on the other side, Miguel glares at the notifications with sheer annoyance. Desperate to end this, Miguel offers a refund, but Kiss instantly refuses. Miguel stares in disbelief, wondering what on earth she wants if not her money back. Teach me. Facing Miguel's question, Kiss remembers her promise regarding Captain. She doesn't just want her money, she wants the skills to stand beside him. Afraid of being mocked for the truth, Kiss wildly bluffs that her dream is to be the world's #1 pro player, leaving Miguel staring at the screen in skepticism. Trying to call her bluff, Miguel asks who her idol is. Kiss scrambles through her memories of watching tournaments with Captain, recalling a specific, dominant figure. Noah. When the name appears, Miguel's cold gaze freezes. She has unknowingly named his former glory, the very identity he's forced to hide. Moved by the coincidence, a faint, amused smile plays on Miguel's lips. He decides to take on this troublesome student, since he has time to kill anyway. Kiss jumps on the sofa, cheering in pure victory. After calming down, she tremblingly presses the call button, offering a shy, nervous greeting. Miguel activates a voice changer, setting strict rules and a disguised deep voice. Kiss sits up straight, intimidated by the ambiguous tone, completely unaware of her mentor's true identity. Before the lesson even begins, Miguel snaps at Kiss about her fake profile picture. For personal reasons, he despises such deception and demands she change it immediately. Kiss fiercely defends her edited photo, insisting it's real. But mid-outburst, her mother's suspicious voice from the hallway freezes her in place. Desperate to hide her catfishing session, she lies about talking to a game friend. Her trembling finger aims for mute, but panic leads to a fatal misclick on the camera icon. In the dim light of her room, Miguel freezes. On screen, Kiss appears in pink pajamas, completely unguarded, transforming the mystery into an adorably awkward reality. Realization hits Kiss like a truck. Staring at her own face on the screen, her pupils dilate. A silent scream of despair echoes through the night. Why is the camera on? Morning sunlight fills the cafe. While Rio rambles about catching the culprit, Miguel sits opposite him, a rare, distracted smile playing on her lips. Don't trust people online, Rio warns sternly. But Miguel just rests her chin on her hand, thinking of the clumsy girl in pajamas, her gaze softening. I know. Smack. Rio playfully slaps Miguel's head, bursting her daydream bubble and reiterating the dangers of the internet with brotherly roughness. In the classroom, Meili remains skeptical about the gray swordsman. Kiss, however, is consumed by the mortifying memory of her accidental face reveal, terrified her friend might find out. Suddenly, Meili dumps a stack of heavy notebooks onto Kiss under the guise of taking a break. Before Kiss can protest, her friend winks and slips away. Staring at the endless stairs to the 6th floor and the heavy stack in her arms, Kiss accepts her fate and begins the grueling climb. Just you wait, Meili, Kiss grumbles breathlessly. As she turns the corner, she slams into someone, and the books slip from her grasp. Notebooks fly everywhere. Just as Kiss expects to fall, strong hands steady her shoulders. Shaken, she looks up and locks eyes with him. Her heart skips a beat. Before she can recover, she hears that familiar voice. Captain is sternly scolding the reckless student who bumped her, fiercely protective. Captain gently helps gather the scattered books. Seeing his face so close, realization dawns on Kiss. This was Meili's lazy plan all along. Best wingman ever. What a coincidence, I'm heading there too. Captain naturally takes the lead. Walking beside him, Kiss's cheeks burn, her heart racing. Surely this is destiny. Sunlight filters through the classroom as Captain mentions seeing her online late last night. His gaze is affirming, working that hard to join the team. I know you can do it. Then, he drops the bomb. Are you free tonight? Want to grind ranks together? His gentle smile instantly shatters Kiss's defenses. Night falls, silencing the school. Kiss replays the scene in her mind on a loop, Captain's invitation feeling so dreamy, she can barely believe it's real. Back in her room, she rolls around in excitement, then panic sets in about her gaming skills. Suddenly, a notification ping sends her heart into her throat. Is it him? Seeing the swordsman's message, the anticipation in Kiss's eyes turns to disappointment. But the next second, the name she's been dreaming of, Captain, pops up, stopping her heart and sending her into a frenzy of joy. Lost in her sweet fantasy, Kiss decisively postpones the swordsman's training. But on the other side of the screen, in the darkness, Miguel's eyes turn cold, filled with deep disappointment and anger at this casual attitude toward esports. The excitement is quickly replaced by anxiety as Kiss clutches her head in a dilemma. Without the swordsman's guidance, she can't improve, yet Captain's invitation is impossible to resist. Taking a deep breath, Kiss grips her phone, her eyes hardening with resolve. She's made her choice. With a tap and a swooshing sound, her consciousness dives decisively into the vast virtual world. In the game world, Kiss, now an elf, shyly asks for patience. Beside her, Captain is as gentle as ever, smiling to reassure the nervous rookie, filling the air with warmth. Just as they are chatting happily, a cold voice breaks the harmony. The silver-haired swordsman appears abruptly, her remark about another burden, instantly extinguishing the warm atmosphere like a bucket of ice water. Faced with the swordsman's undisguised contempt, the air freezes. The sharp click of a gun cocking rings out Captain's silent yet forceful rebuttal, igniting the fuse of conflict. The two face off in midair, tension exploding instantly. Captain hovers upside down, guns pointed at his rival, eyes burning with defiance. A battle for the pride of the strong. Caught between the two aces, Kiss breaks down completely. Watching the scene unfold, tears well up in her eyes, unable to comprehend how things spiraled into this chaotic battlefield. Time passes, and the battle rages on. In 2 consecutive games, Captain and the mysterious teammate display astonishing dominance, the glory of MVP shining alternately across the battlefield, stunning everyone. In Game 9, as the blue light from Captain's muzzle ends the match again, Kiss feels a deep sense of helplessness. She creates a shock realization. She's like an outsider, merely looking up at these two godlike teammates. Just as Kiss stands bewildered, a shadow suddenly appears beside her, dictating tactics. Before the words settle, a red blade of light slashes through the air, striking the enemy's face with lethal precision. As the smoke clears, the three stand side by side. Although the screen displays victory, the score hints at a tightly contested draw, the air thick with the mutual respect of top-tier players. Back in reality, in his dim room, Captain takes off his headset, a look of recognition in his eyes. Though he doesn't know who it was, he has to admit their skill, feeling a twinge of regret for his earlier impulsiveness. Meanwhile, Kiss tries to explain. Surprisingly, the sharp-tongued Miguel doesn't scold her, but acknowledges the teamwork. Relieved, Kiss can't help but ask the question hiding in her heart. Faced with the question about Liking. Miguel averts her gaze, cheeks flushing. She speaks softly, admitting that the dedication to give everything to be the best is indeed moving. Kiss's eyes sparkle with admiration. On the other side of the screen, Miguel lowers her gaze and finally confesses, "I like that kind of person." In this moment, two hearts quietly draw closer across the boundary of virtual and reality. Sunlight spills onto the desks. Kiss is no longer the rookie who only screams. Moving in perfect sync with her friend, fingers flying, she secures a victory. She is ready to face the bigger stage. A high five echoes in the air, celebrating a week of grueling progress. With this newfound skill, the upcoming test no longer feels impossible. But reality bites back hard. A careless ambush triggers Miguel's frustration, leaving Kiss blushing in guilt as the harsh critique pours through the headset. The calendar's red circle looms like a ticking bomb. With 1 week left, the playful banter dies down, replaced by laser-focused practice on the park bench. Every second counts, every tap matters. Tension snaps into pure euphoria as the golden victory flashes across the screen. They actually did it. Kiss waits for the verdict, eyes shining with hope. Miguel tries to stay stern, but a rare, gentle smile betrays her pride in her student's growth. Kiss's gratitude strikes a chord, causing Miguel to slip up and mention Noah. She freezes, realizing her alter ego almost bridged the gap to reality. Staring at the cheerful avatar, Miguel reflects. The girl she once dismissed as a pushover has proven to be a fighter who never knows when to quit. Emotions blur the lines of mentorship. Watching Kiss, Miguel feels a profound ache in her chest, a burning desire to make this girl's dream come true. 2 days before the test, the kitchen fills with a scent of cookies. Kiss packs a batch for Captain, but her heart prompts her to set one aside for the Gray Swordsman too. A request for her address sends Miguel into a panic. The invincible gamer freezes, terrified that a simple gift might shatter her carefully constructed anonymity. Miguel compromises with a P.O. box to stay safe. Kiss pouts at the suspicion, calling it weird, but accepts the terms with a resigned smile. 2 star-patterned bags, 2 important people. On the eve of the test, Kiss walks the school corridors, carrying her heart wrapped in brown paper. She arrives at room 6 of 1 only to find emptiness. Captain is stuck in a meeting, and the disappointment on Kiss's face is instant and heavy. The meeting ends at 6, the exact time of her final practice with Gray Swordsman. Kiss freezes, torn between her crush and the mentor she can't afford to fail. Duty calls. Kiss makes a split-second decision, entrusting the gift to a classmate. She sprints away, choosing the practice over the moment she waited for. Suddenly, footsteps halt. A girl steps in, claiming to be Kiss's friend. Her polite tone masks the calculated timing of her arrival. With a dazzling smile that leaves the boys blushing, she offers to deliver the gift herself. The bag changes hands smoothly, too smoothly. "Leave it to me." Clutching the star-patterned bag, she turns away. As she walks, the warmth vanishes from her eyes, replaced by something cold. The precious gift becomes trash in her hands. Her expression darkens, fingers uncurling with chilling indifference as she lets the bag fall. Drop. The bag lands in the dark drawer, discarded like garbage. Unaware of the betrayal, Kiss runs on, while Malice quietly shuts the door. The classroom buzzes with exam day nerves until the clock strikes 6. She looks up, her eyes lighting up with genuine surprise. "Wow, I didn't expect you to actually show up." Meanwhile, tension thickens in another room. Darren taunts with confident swagger, but Kiss crosses her arms, holding her ground. A phone screen lights up. Everyone is here, tightening the invisible string in the air. "Let's get started." The command cuts through the noise. The Polaris selection begins with a brutal rule. Only a 5v5 battle will prove who belongs. Teams face off in the darkness, tension crackling. The boy stares intently at his screen, sweat forming. Victory demands not just skill, but perfect analysis. Only the top 5 survive. With this final ultimatum, the test begins. The air freezes, leaving only the sound of pounding hearts echoing in the silence. Meanwhile, Meili wanders the hallway sipping juice. With an hour left, her gaze drifts out the window, thoughts entirely on her friend fighting for a chance at love. Deciding to kill time at the library, she casually tosses her juice box. Thud. She peers down a perfect miss, landing awkwardly deep in a cluttered drawer. The scene shifts to the bustling city. Inside a sleek building, a finger presses the elevator button. Click. Someone is on the move, heading toward a crucial appointment. Back at the lockers, a mystery bag sparks a tug-of-war. Smelling sweet snacks, Rio tries to intercept, claiming, "Miguel hates sweets," only to reveal a pink letter hidden underneath. "No! That's mine!" Miguel snaps, snatching the envelope with rare aggression. But as he unfolds the letter, the opening line dash, "To the rude-mouthed guy," makes his heart sink. A hate letter? But as he reads, the clumsy girl's voice fills his mind. Not insults, but pure gratitude, thanking the gray swordsman for not taking her money and running, for actually teaching her. Against a stark white void, Miguel stares at the letter. The words, "Maybe you're not a bad person," pierce through his defenses, warming a heart long frozen by betrayal. Seeing the signature, "From Kiss," a rare smile breaks across Miguel's face. What a dork. Beside him, Rio watches with a complex gaze. "Whatever your dream is, I hope you succeed. Maybe one day, we could be friends in real life." The wish hangs in the air before reality shatters into a chaotic game world. An explosion rocks the purple sky as a teammate cries for help. The mage lands a perfect hit, earning a thumbs up from the warrior. But triumph turns to terror in a split second. A red beam strikes from behind. "Behind you!" echoes uselessly amidst the explosion. Smoke clears. The purple-haired mage smirks, warning her opponent to watch her back. The reply comes sharp and determined. "Don't think I'll lose to you, Darren." From the shadows, an assassin descends like a phantom. The battlefield logic is cruel and simple. A mage caught alone is a mage dead. Faced with a lethal ambush, the player's fingers don't tremble. Don't panic. The ultimate skill ignites, transforming the fragile mage into a storm of destruction, countering the strike head-on. "You made a mistake." Triumph gleams in Darren's eyes as lightning and fire dance around her fingertips. She delivers the final verdict. "Sweet dreams, Kiss." Boom! Blinding light swallows everything. The screen erupts in a violent explosion, leaving only a suffocating silence in its wake. Joy fills the classroom as Darren presses her hands together, beaming with excitement while accepting Captain's congratulations on her victory. But the shadow of elimination looms. With only one spot left, Kiss holds her breath, sweat trickling down, heart pounding as she prays for her name to be called. Meanwhile, in a dim room, the click of a mouse breaks the silence. Miguel feigns indifference, yet her fingers betray her, anxiously refreshing the page to find news of that girl. The list finally updates. Heartbeat echoing in her headphones, her eyes scan through the unfamiliar IDs, finally locking onto the last name. Back in the classroom, Kiss squeezes her eyes shut, chanting her ID. But the name called is not hers. In that instant, hope shatters completely. Cheers wash over the winners like a tide, leaving Kiss stranded outside the noise. She stands frozen, staring at the list without her name, her world turning instantly gray. Oblivious friends excitedly plan tonight's ranked match, instinctively inviting her. But this unintentional kindness turns into the sharpest reminder of her failure. Even comfort sounds hollow now. Kiss turns and walks away, her figure lonely, crushed by a massive sense of defeat, leaving complex gazes behind her. Heavy steps turn into a frantic run. Her ragged breathing echoes in the corridor as self-doubt coils around her heart. Is it because I didn't try hard enough? It really hurts. Her friend Meili rushes in, breathless, only to receive the heart-wrenching news Kiss has already run home in tears. Worry spreads through the empty hallway. The carefully prepared cookies were never delivered. Seeing the heart-decorated box, classmates feel a wave of pity. Her unspoken affection now seems heartbreakingly precious. When asked about the cookies, the girl with glasses looks flustered, as if a hidden secret has been touched. Her companion's sharp gaze only makes her more uneasy. Fleeing the interrogation, she looks down at her phone, fingers trembling as she sends a message. The reply "I'm fine" on the screen only makes the heartache worse. Staring at the cheerful emoji on the screen, she knows Kiss is putting on a brave face. The phrase "pretty girls never get upset" is just a mask hiding a shattered heart. Elsewhere, a hand violently crumples the receipt for the expensive cookies. As the paper crunches, the wasted effort and expectations vanish into the lonely city night. In the room bathed in blue light, Miguel hesitates over the chat box. Wanting to care but fearing to overstep, her finger hovers over send, torn between distance and closeness. A notification chime pierces the dark bedroom. Kiss jerks her head up from the pillow, a flicker of hope in her swollen eyes. Is it comfort from a friend? It's the Gray Swordsman. His simple comfort touches a nerve. But when Kiss tentatively asks for a call, Miguel on the other side panics instantly. This is too sudden. After a frantic scramble to enable the voice changer and kill the camera, Miguel feigns composure and answers, only to hear a trembling, tearful confession. "I'm sorry for deceiving you." Clutching her phone, Kiss musters the courage to confess. She isn't chasing a pro career, but simply trying to get closer to the senior she has a crush on. Instead of the ridicule she feared, Noah's gentle voice cuts through the silence. "Trying to follow your dreams, whatever the reason, is nothing to be ashamed of." The heavy atmosphere lifts as Kiss bursts into giggles, leaving Noah, who was trying to be serious, slightly flustered and confused by the sudden shift. Riding the wave of their banter, Kiss boldly asks the question she's been holding back. "Since you're my mentor, can I finally see your face?" While Kiss playfully uses cookie debt as leverage, Miguel freezes in panic on the other side. Her true identity as a female gamer must remain a secret at all costs. Moved by her sincere wish to recognize him in real life, Miguel relents. A moment later, a video call request flashes abruptly on Kiss's screen. The video connects, but instead of a face, a sly white fox mask fills the screen. Miguel smirks behind it. "Now we're even." Kiss stares at the screen, stunned by the mysterious figure with long silver hair and a mask. Tears well up. This is the Gray Swordsman, who has been by her side. The next day at school, Kiss is snapped out of her daydream by a commotion. She looks up. Heart-pounding Captain, her crush, is standing right at the doorway. Bathed in the hallway sunlight, Captain not only apologizes for the club trials, but asks her out after school. Kiss feels like she's floating on cloud 9. Meanwhile, the atmosphere in the GOD team meeting room is heavy. The calculating coach briefs the team on the evening's event, his gaze suddenly darkening as he singles someone out. Rio, with a calculated smirk, helpfully reminds the coach of Miguel's suspension, subtly trying to block the former ace from attending the event. Outwardly, Rio agrees that Miguel is essential for the fans, but the cold glint in his eyes reveals the truth. This is just another step in his scheme against her. Back at the arcade, shadows of conspiracy fade away. Kiss and Captain fight side by side, scoring a beautiful victory in the shooting game amidst cheers. "Your aim is no joke." Kiss blushes deeply at Captain's praise. As they move to a dessert shop, the air is thick with sweet, romantic tension. Suddenly, Captain reaches out and gently wipes a crumb from the corner of Kiss's mouth. The intimate gesture makes her heart skip a beat, freezing her in place. To hide her flustered state, Kiss quickly changes the subject to a Kings of Arena promo event nearby, and they excitedly decide to check it out. The mall is buzzing with energy as the massive KOA stage looms before them. This is the world of esports filled with unknown passion and an approaching storm. Captain gazes at the trophy with a flicker of ambition. Beside him, an excited Kiss has no idea she is about to cross paths with her masked mentor in the most unexpected way. The roar of the crowd reaches a fever pitch as the host announces the stars. Amidst the chaos, a sudden collision freezes time. Kiss looks up in panic, the world fading away until only the deafening thud of a heartbeat remains. Under the spotlight, Team GOD enters the arena, commanding all with every step. Yet at the back, the silver-haired Noah stiffens, his face burning beneath the mask, struck by an overwhelming wave of unexpected emotion. The fanatical buzz feels suffocating, making Noah dizzy with the urge to flee. Suddenly, a familiar silhouette cuts through the crowd. The girl's pupils dilate, her hand flying to her mouth in utter shock. Memory and reality collide. Images of her happy reflection shatter into present disbelief. Noah's sharp gaze pierces through the crowd, an inner voice echoing with unwavering certainty. It is real. The world flips upside down. In a white void of consciousness, Noah's thoughts are violently pulled back to that single name kiss. On the street, the girl blushes, eyes starry, as a dormant affection begins to awaken. Meanwhile, the interview atmosphere drops to freezing point. A question from the audience strikes like a dagger, targeting rumors of God's withdrawal and Noah's internal conflict, leaving him wide-eyed with shock. In the shadows, a pink-haired figure turns, a provocative and confident smirk playing on his lips. The storm is far from over. The real game is just beginning. Flashback to that suffocating moment on stage. Sharp accusations of withdrawal and infighting echo in the air. Though masked, Noah's stiffened body and shocked eyes betray the turmoil raging within him. Just as control slips away, Shinji calmly takes the mic, masking the tension with a bright laugh. Noah's clenched fists slowly relax, but even as the storm settles, the shadow in his eyes remains. Chaos erupts backstage as staff scramble to apologize for the blunder. Though the team accepts the apology, the stifling, awkward atmosphere hangs heavy over them, like the low pressure before a storm. As the team moves to leave, Noah halts. Ignoring the coach's urge, he breaks away with determined eyes. A small matter pulls him in a different direction, one he must pursue alone. Elsewhere, Kiss waits alone on the unfamiliar street. As twilight deepens, a frivolous voice breaks the silence. She turns sharply, feeling a creeping unease in this corner lit only by flickering digital signs. Two casual gamers surround her, brimming with mocking superiority about their skills. Kiss maintains a polite smile, but internally rolls her eyes. Their arrogance is nothing short of laughable to her. As she tries to refuse, one guy rudely leans in to peek at her screen. Seeing her staggering rank and win rate, his expression shifts instantly from flippant to shocked suspicion. No normal player can do this. If it's not hacks, it's a bot ID. The accusation is aggressive, threatening a ban. As Kiss stammers in panic, a mysterious figure with a staff badge looms behind them, spiking the tension. Kiss desperately pleads with the staff member, terrified for her friend's account. Beneath his cap, Noah in disguise pauses. The panicked girl before him perfectly overlaps with a figure from his memory. Overcome by familiarity, Noah impulsively hands her a rare pin. Kiss accepts the sudden kindness in surprise. As their fingertips brush, an invisible spark seems to ignite the air between them. The mystery man turns and leaves, leaving Kiss frozen, clutching the pin and muttering to herself. The inexplicable flutter in her heart confuses her, until her friend's return snaps her back to reality. Walking through the bustling street, Kiss glances back. A bold guess rises in her heart, only to be crushed by reason. Impossible. She shakes her head, burying the flutter deep inside, and disappears into the crowd. Silence shatters as her heart pounds. Panic rises as she's grabbed by the collar, erupting into shock and fury. Meanwhile, amidst the dazzling city lights, Kiss basks in a sweet date with Captain, a mysterious pin becoming the center of their conversation. Speaking of dreams, Captain's gentle encouragement warms her heart. Kiss looks down shyly, blushing, her longing for the sports stage growing stronger. The roaring train cannot drown out the gentle kiss. Romantic tension peaks, making it feel like they are the only two people in the world. The opportunity finally arrives. Captain promises a spot on the team if she passes the first round, and Kiss's eyes overflow with sheer surprise and joy. Elsewhere, in the dim twilight of a van, Miguel, exhausted and burdened, turns down a party invitation, choosing to bear his hidden stress alone. The gears of fate turn. A fleeting glance in the hallway between Kiss and the disguised, gray swordsman sparks a subtle, electric tension in the air. Bathed in gentle twilight, Miguel removes the disguise, touching his chin as the thought, "We finally meet," ripples through his heart. Across the hall, Darren summons the courage to ask for a teammate, only to be met with a cold rejection, a sudden, harsh blow of youth. While Darren fumes over the rejection, Meili sternly lectures Kiss in the classroom, analyzing the brutal reality of the competition to dissuade her. Undeterred by Meili's cheek pinch and interrogation, Kiss remains blindly optimistic, their playful tug-of-war vivid against a backdrop of sparkling flowers. Worn down by persistence, Meili blushes and reluctantly agrees, while Kiss flashes a sly, triumphant smile, having a plan already in mind. Late at night, seeing Kiss's excited post, Miguel's lips curve into a smile, realizing the world-class pro she mentioned is actually him. But realizing Kiss's heart truly belongs to that senior, Miguel's smile freezes, and jealousy quietly takes root in his heart. In her bedroom, while fiercely defending Captain's image, a sudden realization strikes Kiss: she has caught a crucial, overlooked clue. Confusion turns to shock. Staring at the login time and stats, Kiss's pupils dilate. The mysterious Gray Swordsman is right here in this school. Doubts linger, but the desire to find the expert prevails. Kiss walks firmly down the corridor, deciding to take a gamble. She goes straight to the source, asking Captain about the Gray Swordsman, with high hopes, only to receive a cold, unfamiliar response. Though the lead goes cold, Captain smiles and hands her an exclusive pin in return for cookies, this unexpected warmth instantly soothing Kiss's disappointment. Captain's gentle encouragement warms her heart as Kiss clutches the badge, eyes shining with determination. Meanwhile, in the library, Meili frowns in disbelief. Could that legendary ID really be here at school? Lost in thought, Meili struggles to reach a book on the high shelf. A hand quietly reaches out, and Kendo's gentle voice breaks the silence as he thoughtfully retrieves it for her, stirring a subtle tension in the air. Kendo's shy question snaps Meili back to reality, but she has no room for romance. Kiss's inexplicable promise feels like a ticking time bomb, throwing her mind into utter chaos. At the mention of recruitment, Meili's eyes sharpen. Despite her sarcasm towards Captain, she can't ignore the startling coincidence. Meanwhile, whispers about a mysterious high-ranking player begin to circulate in the classroom. Kendo notes, with confusion, that the applicant failed the test, then solemnly drops the heavy name dash. The Gray Swordsman. The atmosphere instantly thickens with tension, as a massive mystery looms over them. Disregarding the test results and clinging to this sliver of hope, a high-stakes invitation is sent out with a decisive tap of the finger, aimed squarely at the unknown target. Finally, in a sunlit corner of the campus, Kiss eagerly calls out to the figure. Barely containing her ecstasy, she is convinced she has at last found the legendary Gray Swordsman. 1 hour earlier, the calm of the classroom is shattered by a phone notification. The gray figure is online and nearby. Kiss snaps her head up, eyes burning with sheer determination. Overcome with excitement, she springs up from her seat. Facing the teacher's stern interrogation, Kiss thinks fast, clutching her stomach and feigning pain just to escape and hunt down her elusive target. On the other side of the hallway, the real Gray Swordsman frowns at the message. I know you're nearby. Has his cover been blown? Uneasiness and suspicion spread rapidly through his mind. Kiss's mind races as she hurries down the hall. With everyone in class, the person playing right now must be the unrivaled expert she's looking for. The logic is undeniable. Like a hunter stalking prey, she holds her breath, checking every classroom and corner. Not here, not there. As time ticks away, the search radius shrinks by the second. Exhaustion sets in after scouring the entire building in vain. Just as Kiss begins to doubt herself, she catches a subtle sound while heading toward the gate, reigniting her hope. Who's there? Kiss alertly turns toward the sound and finds someone lonely playing the same game on the steps. To verify his identity, she taps her screen, sending the decisive invitation. The boy stares at the sudden invitation in bewilderment. Before he can react, Kiss appears behind him with a triumphant smile. I finally found you, Gray Swordsman. She grabs his arm, enthusiastically inviting him to the team. But the boy, sweating profusely, looks at her in panicked confusion. Are you trying to buy this account? The truth hits like ice water, as the boy awkwardly explains he merely bought the ID. The light in Kiss's eyes instantly fades. The person before her is not the legendary mentor she sought. Though disappointed, Kiss quickly recovers. If he bought a high-rank account, surely he has some skill? Seeing the boy's confident smile, a spark of hope reignites from the ashes. I'm Pi. I'm Kiss. In that moment, a breeze stirs, and cherry blossoms seem to fall around him. He may not be the one she expected, but for the sake of her team and dream, a new partnership is born. Pi's cheeks flush crimson at the sudden invitation from Kiss. Without a second thought, he joins the team for her sake, marking the start of a new chapter at room 5 of 8. The roster is complete. With Pi as the final piece, 5 hands stacked tightly together. A spirited battle cry echoes through the air. Let's win the championship. Night falls. Though Miguel claims the competition will be easy peasy, Kiss's shy question, will you come to cheer me on? Leaves her pausing in silence. To protect her identity, Miguel fabricates a lie, claiming she sold the Gray Swordsman account long ago. She tries to mask her panic with a cold tone, hoping to sever Kiss's suspicions. But Kiss isn't so easily fooled. Suspicion takes root, and tired of text-based excuses, she pushes back hard. This time, I want to see your real face. The negotiation escalates into an ultimatum. Kiss starts a ruthless countdown, show your face or it's over. On the other side, Miguel's pupils dilate, blindsided by this sudden aggression. Seconds tick away, each number hammering against Miguel's heart. Flashbacks of her hidden life flood her mind. If she's exposed, her carefully guarded world will crumble. The countdown nears 0. Kiss stares intensely at the screen, desperate for the truth, while Miguel is backed into a corner, fingers frozen, with nowhere to run. 1. As the timer hits 0, Kiss bolts up from her chair, eyes wide. What appears on the screen leaves her speechless with shock. Just then, a video call request pops up. Is the mysterious Gray Swordsman finally revealing themselves? The suspense reaches its peak. But fate plays a cruel joke. A split second before connecting, the screen goes black. The battery dies at the most critical moment. All that effort for nothing. Kiss glares at the blank screen in exasperation, her angry cry echoing through the room. Why now, of all times? The next day, sunlight dispels the night's gloom. Regrets aside, life goes on. Pi gazes gently at Kiss, softly encouraging her for the upcoming training. For the sake of the team, past frictions must be resolved. A sincere apology and a request for help bring the teammates closer, with a subtle hint of romance in the air. Training begins at the cafe. But Pi's mind isn't on tactics. Like a knight, he stays glued to Kiss's character, basking in her praise while forgetting the bigger picture. Defeat. The crimson text stings everyone's eyes. Teammates finally snap, accusing Pi of prioritizing romance over defense, causing their line to crumble. Kiss rushes to defend Pi against the accusations. Fortunately, the level-headed Melee steps in to diffuse the tension, and the team suppresses their frustration to try again for the sake of victory. Meanwhile, in a corner of the same cafe, Miguel hides beneath her brim. She asks a friend to order, terrified of exposing her identity by appearing at such an awkward time. The surrounding noise grates on Miguel's nerves, finding the crowd unbearable. Unbeknownst to her, Kiss is staring at her back from afar, that nagging sense of familiarity washing over her again. The moment their eyes meet, time freezes. That iconic silver hair instantly triggers a memory, and Kiss's eyes go wide in shock. The person behind the screen is standing right in front of her. Kiss suggests moving to avoid the crowd, but Rio insists on staying, his unusual behavior sparking a flicker of unease in Miguel. Miguel huddles in the corner, too tense to even unwrap her straw. Rio's concern only amplifies her anxiety about being recognized by Kiss. Watching the enthusiastic players nearby, Miguel sinks into thought. As a pro, The simple joy of playing for fun feels like a distant memory. Meanwhile, Meili frowns at her screen. Baffled by the opponent's strange build, she decides to consult their walking tactical encyclopedia. A vibration breaks her trance. Seeing the plea for help, a surprised blush softens Miguel's tense expression. She types a confident reply, guiding the tactics from afar. A smile plays on her lips, enjoying this secret connection and the joy of being needed. Elsewhere, practice winds down. Rio urges Miguel to leave, but she lingers, reluctant to sever the warmth of their digital interaction. Sending Rio away, Miguel stays behind. Nearby, Kiss encourages her team, her eyes shining with a fierce hunger for tomorrow's victory. As the group disperses, Pai nervously asks for a moment alone with Kiss. The teammates catch the hint and give them space. Under the glow of the setting sun, Pai finally opens up. To him, Kiss isn't just a captain, but someone irreplaceable and special. Face burning, he shouts his confession amidst the sunset. The sudden declaration leaves Kiss frozen, eyes wide with shock. Facing Pai's expectant gaze, Kiss looks down, shattering his illusion. The words "I don't feel" that cut deeper than silence. Love instantly curdles into rage. Pai storms off with a venomous accusation, leaving Kiss standing there, her heart violently shredded. Silence swallows the noise. Tears drip onto the cold table as she sinks into self-loathing, convinced she has ruined everything again. I'm just a burden. She curls into a ball, sobbing. Hidden nearby, Miguel watches, biting her lip until it bleeds. It's not your fault. Unable to bear her tears, Miguel steps forward, her firm voice a shield against Kiss's self-inflicted wounds. Fingers graze the trembling shoulder. Miguel longs to embrace the wounded soul, wanting nothing more than to offer direct comfort. But reason acts like a glass wall, barring her entry. Realizing she cannot reveal her true self, she can only watch in agony from the outside. In the end, she chooses a different path. A server brings a sweet treat, a silent embrace from a guardian who must remain hidden. Reading the note, "You've done your best," warmth floods Kiss's heart. In the shadows, the masked figure stands watch, silently vowing never to give up. Bathed in warm cafe light, Kiss clutches the note, a blush spreading across her cheeks. The words "always watching over you" make her heart race, cementing a specific person in her mind. As night falls, Miguel, the gray swordsman, sits in deep contemplation. He nods solemnly at the screen, agreeing to a request that might change everything. Meanwhile, in the shadows of a hallway, a man whispers into his phone. The name Darren cuts through the silence, signaling that a new storm is brewing. Tournament day arrives with a roar. Meili adjusts her glasses, stunned by the crowd's size, while Kiss scans the room, her eyes sparkling with a mix of nerves and pure excitement. Tension fills the prep area as the team rallies together. As the MC announces the start, a promise to do my best hangs in the air, the final vow before stepping onto the battlefield. But the mood shatters instantly. Meili notes Pai's absence, and Kiss's smile freezes. Cold sweat trickles down her brow as anxiety takes root. They are missing a player. We'll be disqualified. Meili's words hit like a hammer. In her desperation, a fiery, shadowy figure flashes in Kiss's mind, the one person who might be able to save them. Just as Kiss hesitates, rapid footsteps echo from the stairs. Pai, the blonde youth, bursts in, breathless but smiling, and a wave of relief washes over the entire team. Made it just in time. Hands pile together, and a united shout rings out, transforming their panic into burning battle spirit as sunlight floods the room. Across the hall, the all-male opposing team sneers at the girls' squad. Kiss doesn't flinch. Gripping her phone, her shyness vanishes, replaced by a steely resolve to win. The match begins. Purple energy erupts across the virtual arena. Kiss launches the first strike, her power slicing through the air like a blade, stunning the opponents instantly. Now! The command rings out, but the tide turns instantly. Beneath the purple moon, the red-cloaked enemy counters with precision, sending Pai crashing to the ground with a cry of pain. Stick to the plan, A teammate screams, but Pi flails in confusion. Chaos reigns as enemy blade beams rain down, tearing their once perfect formation apart. First game lost. In the break room, faced with angry questions, Pi simply closes his eyes and smiles, brushing it off with a lucky mistake. His casual attitude makes the air heavy with tension. Round 2 begins, and Kiss senses something is wrong. Pi feels different. On the virtual field, though surrounded by flames and shouting for attack, his frenzy feels dangerously off-key. No miracles come. With a deafening boom, the screen flashes a blinding defeat. 2 losses in a row. The team has been pushed to the very edge of the cliff. Slam! Meili hits the table, her rage finally boiling over. Why did you throw the game? Facing the accusation, Pi looks down, still trying to mask his sabotage with weak excuses. Meanwhile, in the observation room, a purple-haired woman watches Kiss's team crumble, a playful sneer curling her lips, as if she expected this pathetic outcome all along. If no one trusts me, I'm out. Pi turns his back, dropping the words without an ounce of guilt. He knows they have no substitute. This isn't just a resignation, it's a calculated betrayal. With a casual bye-bye, Pi disappears. The remaining 4 stand frozen, the backbone of their team ripped away. A crushing sense of helplessness fills the corridor. The match isn't over, but they've already lost. With the deadline looming, finding a new assassin seems impossible. Desperate, Kiss stares at the name the Gray Swordsman, knowing this gamble is her only hope. Receiving the SOS, Miguel realizes the stakes. 1 loss means elimination. Tension spikes as she weighs the heavy decision to intervene immediately. Torn between hiding her identity and not wanting to see Kiss cry again, Miguel hesitates. The urge to protect battles against the need to stay hidden. Tears stream down Kiss's face as she breaks down before her team. Regret washes over her. If only she had listened, they wouldn't be in this mess. Meili comforts the trembling Kiss, but the referee's cold announcement shatters the moment. 5 players, or disqualification. Hope fades into absolute despair. Heavy footsteps echo as Kiss walks away, defeated. The weight of failure crushes her spirit, leaving only a deep sense of helplessness. Suddenly, a familiar silver-haired figure catches her eye. A mysterious presence in a wide-brimmed hat appears, reigniting the extinguished spark in Kiss's eyes. Pulling down her hat, Miguel steps up as the red team's substitute. Confidence radiates from her, promising that the real game is about to begin. Reality merges with the game as Miguel reveals her face. Beneath the silver hair lies a steely gaze. She's here to fulfill the promise of a championship. How long will you stand there? Miguel grabs Kiss's wrist, the sudden physical touch snapping the stunned girl back to reality as her heart races. Ignoring the whispers, Miguel offers no excuses. She simply tells Kiss to watch her gameplay. The truth will be revealed in the arena. Mocking laughter echoes as opponents underestimate the female players. Miguel lowers her hat, a cold flash of protective anger igniting in her eyes. Just focus. Miguel's calm voice cuts through the noise. Kiss takes a deep breath, doubt vanishing as a fiery determination takes hold. Opponents boast of an easy win, unaware of the shadow looming. Before they can react, a deadly blade pierces their defense from behind. The battlefield erupts into chaos. Miguel's character moves like a phantom, weaving fire and steel, leaving the panicked opponents with nowhere to run. In just 9 minutes, the enemy base crumbles in a massive explosion. The crowd gasps, stunned by the terrifying power of the mysterious assassin. Stung by defeat, the opponents get serious. But Miguel grips her phone tighter, fingers flying, preparing an assault even fiercer than before. Towers fall and magic explodes as the red team ties the score. In reality, Miguel's expression is icy focused, dictating the rhythm of the entire war. A reverse sweep. With the final explosion, the miracle is complete. Kiss throws her arms up in pure joy, releasing all the pent-up tension in a roar of victory. While opponents sit in awkward silence, Kiss blushes, beaming at her savior. Amidst the joy of victory, the distance between their hearts quietly closes. Darren wails dramatically about their bet, but Kiss shuts him down coldly. Meanwhile, the mysterious teammate tips her hat, silently impressed by Kiss's stunning winning streak. Seeing that familiar figure walking away, Kiss can't hold back anymore. She rushes forward shouting, "Wait! You're the gray swordsman who's been helping me, aren't you?" Under the hat reveals a delicate girl's face. Kiss's pupils dilate in shock. The almighty player is a girl. Miguel looks away shyly, as their hands clasp tightly together. "Thank you for coming just in time." Kiss beams like sunshine. Miguel, face flushing red, pulls her hat down to hide her embarrassment, muttering not to celebrate too soon. Walking side by side, Miguel reminds her the battle isn't over. Kiss looks ahead with determination, courage igniting in her heart. "As long as I have you, I fear nothing." Flashback to the game. Danger lurked under the purple sky. The opponent stared at the fallen silver-haired avatar, sweating in terror, realizing this assassin possessed the terrifying skills of a top-tier pro. But this is a team game. Even the best assassin can't carry alone. Just as exhaustion set in, Team Polaris turned the tide through unity, and the golden word victory finally flashed on the screen. Back in reality, joy fills the stairwell. Captain smiles and extends his hand to Kiss, as promised. "Welcome to Polaris." Kiss blushes, her heartbeat accelerating uncontrollably. Before Kiss can fully savor the joy, Captain suddenly rushes off for urgent business. Watching him leave, Kiss stands there, her excitement instantly cooling into a trace of disappointment. Meanwhile, in the shadows, sharp eyes analyze the match replay. The masked character's playstyle is too familiar. A dangerous intuition rises. They've seen the shadows somewhere before. Sunset dyes the campus red. Kiss stops Miguel from leaving alone again. Gripping her sleeve tightly, her eyes fill with reluctance. "We just met. How can we part like this? I want to get to know you better." Tears shimmer in Kiss's eyes. Seeing her sincerity, Miguel's icy defenses crumble instantly. She gazes gently at the girl and whispers a promise for tomorrow. Miguel turns away, trying to hide her blush, and suddenly tells Kiss to stop using that embarrassing game ID. Kiss smiles through her tears, finally introducing her real name. "My name is Miguel." With the exchange of names, their shadows stretch long in the sunset. The bond from the virtual world grounds into reality. A new story begins. The next morning, amidst the city bustles, Miguel waits against a wall, looking cool but hiding her nervousness. Her heart skips a beat only when the brown-haired figure waves and appears. Kiss dressed up carefully but panics over being late, tripping and falling. Miguel instantly drops her cool act, eyes full of concern. The clumsy moment feels incredibly real and cute. To ease the awkwardness, Kiss suggests a movie. In the theater, she chatters excitedly about the poster, trying to fill the silence with enthusiasm and create the perfect date atmosphere. However, when Kiss turns to share a thought, she finds Miguel fast asleep against the seat. The disappointment of unmet expectations floods her heart, and she sighs helplessly. The atmosphere in the subway is stiff. Miguel explains she was up late, but Kiss responds coldly. Miguel isn't lying, but she's hiding the true reason for her insomnia. Rewind to last night, Miguel curled up in her chair, consumed by fear and regret. Identity revealed, a pro player competing illegally. If the coach finds out, her career is destroyed. In the dark, Miguel tries to convince himself to stay away, but the moment he opens the door and sees her waiting, his defenses begin to crack. Reason screams a warning. Miguel clutches his head, trying to suppress the rising concern, finally seeking escape in the chaos of the arcade. Seeking distraction, they play side by side. Kiss handles the gun with surprising skill, her high score making Miguel raise an eyebrow in suspicion. "You're a pro in disguise, aren't you?" Her casual joke hits the mark. Miguel lowers his head, hiding a shy, complicated smile. Watching her struggle, Miguel can't hold back. He wraps his arms around her from behind, guiding her hands, the intimacy instantly heating up the air. Victory flashes on the screen. Kiss turns to beam with pride, and seeing her radiant smile, Miguel's gaze softens as he offers quiet praise. Back in the sunlight, Kiss nibbles on ice cream and probes into his life, but Miguel deflects every question with a playful, guarded grin. When curiosity pushes too deep, Miguel's smile fades. His eyes darken as he warns her away, his sudden detachment stinging Kiss like a slap. Not wanting the mood to sour, Miguel pulls her hand toward a shop. It's a photo booth, but as the camera readies, he instinctively recoils. Kiss unleashes a pleading pout he can't refuse. Miguel crosses his arms, cheeks burning, and despite his resistance, he stays right where he is. The shutter clicks. Kiss promises to keep the photo safe, her words dash. Proof that you're real, striking deep into Miguel's guarded heart. Sunset bathes the streets in amber. The photo is still warm in their hands, a tangible memory of a day that has etched itself into their hearts. The time to part arrives. Miguel hints this might be the end, his heart heavy with bitterness, while Kiss clings firmly to the promise of again. Watching her wave goodbye with a smile, Miguel's wish to have never met her crumbles. The light in her eyes is a tether he cannot sever. Kiss raises her hand for a high five to end the date. Miguel hesitates, his hand hovering, as if weighing a difficult decision. It's not just a high five. Emotions burst through the dam as Miguel pulls her into a desperate embrace, his deafening heartbeat speaking the words he cannot say. Cheeks burning under the moonlight, Miguel realizes he's lost control. This sudden intimacy is a sweet surrender, and a declaration of war against his reality. Back in his empty room, Miguel stares at his championship trophy. That glory was once everything, but now, his heart is full of someone else. The memory of her gaze lingers. Miguel closes his eyes, a bittersweet smile playing on his lips. Uncertain of the future, he lets himself drown in this feeling. For months have passed since the scandal, yet the culprit remains a ghost, and the investigation has hit a suffocating dead end. Haunted by an unjust accusation, Miguel stands in the shadows, forcing herself to swallow the bitterness of being a scapegoat. But gazing at the skyline, a fire reignites in her eyes. For her dreams, she will rise, no matter how many times she falls. There is only one goal, the top rank. With unwavering resolve, the former King Noah declares her return to the arena. Meanwhile, in the school hallway, Kiss summons all her courage and invites Captain to join the team, her eyes filled with anticipation. But Captain averts his gaze, his expression solemn. He refuses, admitting his previous victory wasn't earned by his own skill. He pushes the badge of honor back. Even if he can't fight beside her, he vows to cheer for her from the sidelines. His warm hand gently covers hers, entrusting the opportunity to her. The door to Polaris is always open for you. Kiss clutches the badge, blushing. The weight of his trust instantly settles her anxious heart. Back at the team office, amidst the pile of reports, a phone that vanished after the match becomes the only crack in the case. Finding that phone leads to the culprit. Miguel grasps at this straw, exhausted from living as the scapegoat. The coach dismisses the search as a waste of time. Gritting her teeth, Miguel decides to channel her rage into winning the championship. She storms up, desperate to lose herself in training, but the coach's ominous voice stops her cold. There is one more thing. You won't be competing this season. The words strike like lightning, demoting Miguel from ace player to a mere influencer instantly. Rage rushes to her head. Miguel demands an answer in disbelief, but the coach coldly points to the person taking her place as the assassin. It's Rio. Her former teammate now stands as a rival. Miguel screams, refusing to accept this orchestrated betrayal. Then the coach delivers the fatal blow. Her secret participation in the beginner match to help Kiss has been exposed. The blade of the rules falls without mercy, cutting off her retreat. Darkness swallows Miguel as she is banned from competing. The world seems to freeze. Miguel's pupils dilate in shock as she looks desperately to Rio for defense, finding only silence. This isn't real. The voice screams in her mind, but the dead silence before her cruelly confirms the nightmare has begun. Falling through an endless white void, he curls up, trembling. His mind teeters on the edge of collapse, screaming to wake up from this suffocating nightmare, but only hollow reassurances echo back. The scene shifts to a tense office standoff. Rio smirks with disdain, mocking the adherence to rules, before casting his ambitious gaze upon the tournament poster, fire burning in his eyes. In the prep room, he records everything, fixing the lens on that white figure. Brimming with confidence, he smiles as if the entire game is in his hands, victory already assured. Since the spot is mine, have I finally surpassed Miguel? He stands tall, hands in pockets, believing the shadow of the genius that loomed over him is finally fading. Yet the coach's cold words strike hard experience, and results still favor Miguel. Rio doesn't argue, but a twitch of his lips betrays a silent challenge brewing within. Just wait and see. Sunlight highlights his profile, masking the darkness in his eyes. I'll do my best, he promises calmly, burying his ambition and resentment deep, waiting for the moment to erupt. Memories shatter. Under a blood-red sunset, he sprints through distorted time, fists clenched, trying to outrun the closing truth, desperately screaming to deny the reality before him. Meanwhile, across the city, Kiss stops. The sunset casts her long shadow. Checking the directions, she takes a deep breath, the inexplicable feeling in her heart growing stronger. It's here. Distracted by her phone, fate crashes into her. A gasp, a loss of balance, and the sharp clatter of a dropped phone cut through the air. She apologizes frantically, not yet seeing who stands before her. As they kneel, her eyes widen at the sight of that familiar silver hair. He lowers his head to hide, but his trembling shoulders betray him. Miguel. Shock instantly melts into infinite concern. Before she can ask, he suddenly leans in. A warm hand grasps her waist, closing the distance until their breaths mingle. Her name falls from his lips, carrying a fragility that feels like it's about to shatter. All pretenses collapse. She wraps her arms around him tightly, tears bursting forth. Clinging to his trembling frame like a lifeline, she begs, "Please don't leave me." From virtual allies to a desperate embrace in reality, neon game lights blur with the cold floor. The phone lies forgotten. The world narrows down to two clinging souls, seeking redemption in each other's pain. Miguel looks dazed, eyes filled with confusion and struggle as he tries to process the chaos. But Kiss doesn't let go. She embraces him firmly from behind, her warmth answering his retreat and hesitation. If you knew the real me. The secret stings his heart like a thorn. But the answer is a tighter embrace. Burying her face in his back, she vows, "Whoever you are, I will stay with you." The camera pans out, the bustling city hiding countless stories. Meanwhile, behind a glass window, a former companion watches in silence, his deep gaze seemingly looking back at a time that can never return. The gates of memory crash open to the peak moment of Kings of Arena. Giant screens flash, and the roar of the crowd is deafening the brightest, yet most blinding light in Rio's memory, the moment of championship. Confetti fills the air as teammates hoist the trophy in glory. Only Rio stands alone in the shadows below, hand on his chest, unable to hide the longing and loss in his eyes. They are truly amazing. Chasing that light, he once pushed open the coach's door full of hope. Will I be in the main team for the next tournament? He clung to the promise of gaining experience, desperation lacing his voice. Reality dealt a crushing blow. Miguel is performing too well. The roster stays. A few light words shattered all his efforts. Head bowed, nails digging into his palms, he forced his burning resentment into a stiff response. Understood, coach. That name again. Rio stares down at his shoes, the city outside cold and distant. The promise of next season rings hollow, a lie repeated while Miguel's shadow continues to loom over him. Memories flood back, 5 of them walking down a bright corridor, where the dream began. But slowly, that silver back drifted ahead, becoming a star everyone looked up to, leaving him behind with clenched fists. Rio waves to the camera, wearing a practiced fake smile. But deep inside, the memory of his childhood companion, the naturally gifted sibling, slowly devours his self-esteem. Even as a child, the light never favored him. Miguel effortlessly became the center of attention, while Rio stood in the corner with his unnoticed drawing, tasting the bitterness of being the backup. He ran desperately, trying to catch up. But reality was an invisible wall. The harder he tried, the further away she felt. Crowds passed him by, leaving him alone in the corridor to face his despair. That back labeled Noah shone too brightly to look at. Rio's gaze turns to ice, his sweat and effort feeling cheap against the aura of a genius, while the fires of resentment rage uncontrollably within. His mental defenses finally shatter, blue fragments exploding in the darkness with a roar. You don't know what it's like to be a shadow. It's a cry from a torn soul, echoing through the silent night. Meanwhile, across the city, Kiss stands at an apartment door, pupils dilated in shock. The figure before her is so familiar yet strange. I never thought it would end up like this. Street neon lights reflect on Kiss's anxious face. She clutches her phone, palms sweating. Was it for the merch or a misunderstanding? She paces the corner, uneasiness growing like wild weeds. As clues piece together, Kiss recalls the directions and freezes. In that high-tech room, the gray-haired boy's silhouette overlaps with her doubts. Nothing is as simple as it seems. Seeing the trembling figure, Kiss's doubt turns to tenderness. She kneels slowly, whispering, "You look like you're running from something. Were you bullied?" In this moment, there is only pure concern. Kiss puffs her chest, vowing to protect him, trying to lighten the mood. But he doesn't laugh. The words you might not know. Freeze the air again. The secret is about to spill. Blue screen light reflects in Miguel's deep eyes. He turns, a bitter smile playing on his lips. Honestly, we've met before. The words drop like a stone, rippling through Kiss's heart. He lowers his cap slowly. In that instant, the person before her merges with the memory of the sharp-eyed, masked figure. The blurry fragments of the past finally fall into place. Kiss's eyes snap open. In a flash, the scene at King's Arena rushes back. The staff who gave her the pin, the figure surrounded by crowds. He was right here all along. "You're that pro player, Noah." The exclamation bursts out, a mix of shock, awe, and disbelief on her face. Exposed, Miguel simply lowers his head, his expression complex. Miguel grips the desk, voice low and raspy. "Can I even call myself that anymore?" Former glory now feels like a needle to the heart as he begins to unravel the buried truth. Kiss thought it was just a story of a gaming fanatic, but as Miguel speaks, neon lights turn into cold gun barrels. Beneath the casual surface lies a suffocating, cruel reality. In the darkness, the once-spirited youth weeps alone. Big dreams, flames of revenge, endless bitterness, heavy emotions crash like waves, clutching tight at Kiss's heart. The burden is too heavy to carry alone. On the carpet, two hands hesitate, then clasp tightly. In this quiet night, two lonely hearts finally find solace in each other. Echoes of past encouragement linger as Kiss gazes with gentle resolve. Foreheads touch, sealing a silent vow. "This time, I will protect you." The warmth of her hand dispels the loneliness, softening Miguel's weary eyes. Finally, the heavy burden carried alone is shared. Startled, the ice around Miguel's heart melts as he looks at the smiling girl. In this gaze, all anxiety transforms into the courage to move forward together. The warm memory snaps shut as a jarring doorbell breaks the morning silence. Miguel stands barefoot in the hallway, staring at the door in confusion. The door swings open to reveal not a package, but Kiss flashing a peace sign. Her bright smile bursts into his gray world like morning sunlight. Memory flashes back to the dazzling podium, where cheers crash like a tsunami. Team Geo declaims the summit, confetti masking the approaching storm. Behind the mask, Noah stands stoic until the host suddenly shifts tone. Behind that sly smile lies a lethal question poised to detonate the arena. The mask falls, silver hair cascades, and the world freezes. Cries of shock pierce the stage like arrows, leaving her pupils trembling in endless panic. "Stop it!" A desperate scream tears through the darkness as Miguel jolts awake. Cold sweat drenches his back, gasping for air in the suffocating aftermath. Just a dream. Suppressing the lingering shadow, he wearily heads to the kitchen. Suddenly, the doorbell rings, reigniting his anxiety in an instant. The door opens, and the nightmare's fear is banished by sunlight. Kiss stands there, her brilliant smile announcing her intervention, irrational yet so reassuring. She claims the territory as naturally as if it were her own home, spreading snacks and plans across the table. Miguel gets swept up in her undeniable enthusiasm before he can even refuse. Enough! Miguel grabs her wrist, his gaze turning instantly sharp. All playfulness vanishes, leaving only his deep-seated fear for her safety. Facing his anger, Kiss doesn't flinch, but gently touches his forehead. Her clear eyes hold the answer. Precisely because it's dangerous, I cannot let you face it alone. Fingers intertwine, and his tense nerves finally relax in her tenderness. Miguel lowers his head, letting that affectionate, silly, shatter his defenses completely. Just as he tries to turn away with feigned indifference, Kiss holds up an old photo. A secret from the past, the image of him with a red-haired boy freezes the air. At the mention of Rio, Miguel's eyes turn complex and nostalgic. The red-haired boy who grew up like a brother is now an unspeakable pain. Memories flash by like a lantern. To survive in the brutally sports world, she cut her hair and buried her gender. Behind all the glory lies the endless oppression of living behind a mask. Fingertips graze Kiss's hair, stirring an uncontrollable longing in Miguel. If no disguise were needed, would that girl with long hair, smiling freely in the sun, be her true self? Fingers graze the ponytail, a tender touch from Miguel that fills the air with unspoken affection. In her eyes, no one shines brighter. Miguel's heartfelt praise instantly paints a blush across Kiss's cheeks. A sudden sneeze breaks the spell, causing Miguel to frown as she notices a gap in Kiss's timeline of the rain. Kiss rushes to explain her detour at a cafe, and as memory takes over, the sound of phantom rain begins to echo. In the memory, rain pours relentlessly, drenching the solitary figure standing frozen across the street. Puddles soak his shoes as Captain stands motionless, his eyes holding a hollow, heartbreaking silence amidst the storm. Unable to walk away, Kiss rushes into the downpour, tilting her umbrella to shield him, her eyes filled with worry. Recalling the late hour and his clumsy deflection, Kiss's insistence on sending him home feels like the only mercy she could offer. Snapping back to the present, Miguel waves a gentle goodbye, a gesture filled with silent understanding and comfort. Suddenly, Miguel spins around and pulls her into a tight embrace, determined not to let this chance slip away again. Reality hits hard as the teacher's exam announcement pours cold water on Kiss, adding weight to her already scattered mind. Textbook words blur into nothingness, replaced by the haunting image of Captain's sorrowful eyes in the rain. Why would the boy who always smiles look so broken? The question wraps around her heart like a vine, refusing to let go. Watching his slumped back in the hallway, Kiss becomes certain that a burden too heavy to bear alone has fallen upon him. Taking a deep breath, the urge to help him grows stronger, pushing aside hesitation to uncover the truth. Despite doubting her own utility, Miguel cannot refuse Kiss's plea, forming a reluctant alliance born of concern. Just as Kiss paces in frustration, a sudden, violent shove throws her off balance, shattering her focus. With a sickening thud, the model she slaved over shatters midair, leaving only desperate fragments and a boy's horrified face. Shouts shatter the classroom silence as the girl, flushed and trembling, confronts the boy, letting her rage and grievance erupt instantly. Tensions rise, but just as things spiral, Captain grabs the aggressor's wrist, his sharp gaze shielding the terrified girl. Provoked, the boy mocks Captain for meddling, snaps his arm free, and lands a heavy, unexpected punch right on Captain's face. Rage ignites instantly as he screams like a madman, snatching Captain's collar, while gasps of horror ripple through the chaotic crowd. Just as the girl cries out trying to take the blame, a stern command cuts through. The teacher arrives, instantly freezing the chaos. As the noise fades, Captain is marched to the office, his face swollen and breath ragged, leaving only exhaustion in the wake of the fight. Sunlight returns as Kiss waits anxiously, only to see Captain walk out with a band-aid and a smile, shrugging off the incident as if it were nothing. Seeing her guilt, he gently pats her shoulder, his soft "let's go home" instantly melting away all her unease. The sunset dyes the street gold. It's their first time walking home together, the air thick with awkward yet sweet anticipation. Footsteps sync up, trying to break the awkward silence. Kiss clumsily starts a topic, only to find the boy beside her blushing and too shy to speak. Sensing his heavy heart, Kiss stops and looks at him with sincere eyes, gently asking if something has been bothering him. Under her gentle gaze, Captain finally lowers his guard, confessing his secret of running away from home, a flicker of loneliness in his eyes. A shared secret draws their hearts closer, but as they walk in silence, a white car quietly pulls up to the curb. The window rolls down, and a cheerful woman waves from inside, instantly shattering the romantic atmosphere that belonged to just the two of them. Captain's face darkens instantly. He tries to shoo her away in annoyance, only to be silenced by the words, "Dad sent me." He freezes, refusing to get in. Sighing in resignation, his sister turns her gaze to Kiss and offers a meaningful, enthusiastic greeting. Teased by his sister to bring his girlfriend, Captain frantically denies it, yet can't help but cast a deep, intense look at the bewildered Kiss. To escape his sister's pestering, Captain whispers a plea for help to Kiss, while miles away, unanswered messages glow lonely on a phone screen. At the dusk-lit bus stop, Miguel clutches her phone, her lonely silhouette stretched by the setting sun, as disappointment spreads with every passing second. A white luxury car speeds past, carrying laughter away into the distance, leaving Miguel standing alone in the wind, her eyes dimming. Twilight settles over the lonely bus stop as Miguel stares blankly at her phone. The silence is shattered by a white car tearing past. From within, a lingering gaze falls upon her solitary figure. Miguel glances up, her expression cool and detached as she watches the taillights fade. Unaware of who is watching, she cynically notes the luxury car's price, letting the night reclaim the silence.